We have an absolutely massive and highly urgent breaking weather alert for you right now, coming directly out of the American Midwest, where the highly populated city of Milwaukee, Wisconsin is currently being violently battered by a completely unprecedented flash flooding emergency today. Emergency management officials are operating on the absolute highest possible level of maximum alert, as terrifying live video footage shows incredibly destructive torrential rainstorms violently ripping directly through heavily traveled urban communities. This highly volatile severe weather system actively aggressively dropped several massive inches of heavy rain in a deeply terrifying, remarkably short period of time. This completely massive, overwhelming volume of highly concentrated sudden rainfall has violently triggered catastrophic flash flooding, actively overwhelming the heavy municipal drainage systems and aggressively forcing fast-moving murky water directly out onto the busy city streets. Deeply exhausted local homeowners and highly frustrated commuters are currently waking up completely surrounded by highly dangerous rising floodwaters that have violently transformed their once peaceful suburban avenues into completely unrecognizable, rapidly flowing deep water rivers. The completely relentless nature of this massive flooding event is actively creating an absolute terrifying logistical nightmare across the entire metropolitan region, as incredibly heavy, fast-moving currents aggressively swallow completely unsuspecting passenger vehicles entirely whole. Highly terrified local drivers are currently actively finding themselves completely hopelessly trapped inside their rapidly sinking cars, in the absolute middle of massive busy intersections, desperately waiting for highly specialized emergency swift water rescue teams to forcefully pull them to absolute dry safety. Brave local first responders and highly dedicated municipal emergency management officials are actively working completely around the massive ticking clock, violently battling the heavy, treacherous storm conditions to forcefully ensure that absolutely every single vulnerable citizen is completely, deeply safe and heavily protected. Wisconsin State Highway Patrol officers are actively aggressively issuing highly desperate and deeply urgent public safety warnings, violently begging all highly vulnerable residents to completely strictly avoid all highly unnecessary travel and never ever attempt to forcefully drive through any flooded urban valleys or massive deep water intersections. Attempting to aggressively navigate these incredibly heavily flooded major roadways right now is an absolute massive recipe for complete total disaster, because the highly contaminated murky water completely heavily obscures massive dangerous sinkholes, completely washed out sections of heavy concrete pavement and massive sharp, moving dangerous debris. The highly toxic, heavily contaminated raw floodwater also actively presents a completely massive severe health hazard, forcefully threatening to rapidly aggressively spread highly dangerous diseases to absolutely anyone who foolishly attempts to physically wade through the massive deeply flooded city blocks. You absolutely must logically completely turn around and never ever attempt to forcefully drive through any flooded streets, regardless of how incredibly shallow the dangerous water might initially appear to the naked eye, because it can literally wash your heavy vehicle directly off the solid asphalt. You absolutely must fundamentally stay completely highly vigilant and completely strictly informed as this completely monumental extreme weather crisis actively continues to rapidly, violently develop minute by minute across the massive Midwestern region. Hit that subscribe button right now, absolutely violently smash the notification bell, and stay completely tightly locked to our highly exclusive channel as we continuously aggressively bring you the absolute latest highly critical emergency updates directly from the incredibly devastated flooded communities of Wisconsin.